What is the circumference, and what does it have to do with a circle? The circumference is the measurement or the distance around the outside edge or the perimeter of a circle. Normally, when we want to find a distance or how far something is, we'll take out a ruler. But as you can see, it's a little bit hard to use this ruler to measure around the perimeter of this circle. So then how are we going to find the distance around the circumference of this circle? In order to find the answer to that question, the question being, how are we going to find the circumference of a circle, we have to be familiar with another word, and that word is diameter. The diameter is the distance or the measurement from one side of the circle across to the other side of the circle. Knowing the diameter is only part of how we find the circumference. We can see that the diameter in this picture is about 15 centimeters, maybe a little over. So when I think about that, I think about this 15 centimeters, and I say, is 15 centimeters going to be the whole distance across this circle? And it looks to me, like even if I could bend this, that there would be more than one of these rulers worth of distance to go all the way around this circle. So we have to think about what is the relationship of the diameter to the circumference. So now that we're thinking about what is the relationship of the diameter to the circumference of a circle, we can start thinking about our friend pi. Pi is the number 3.14. And what it means is that there are about 3.14 of these rulers worth of distance around the outside or the perimeter of this circle. Now let's put those relationships together. The diameter is the measure of one edge of the circle to the other edge of the circle, or across the center. And it takes 3 of the diameters put together, actually 3.14 of the diameters put together, to equal the distance around the perimeter of a circle. So it takes 3 measurements of the diameter, 3.14 of them, to equal the distance or the perimeter of a circle. So let's look at the measurement that we have here. We have it's over 15 centimeters. So we're going to go ahead and use our rounding skills, and we're going to round up to 16. So we have 16 centimeters for the diameter, and it takes 3 of those measurements, 3.14 of those measurements, to equal the circumference. So we would take that and multiply 16 times 3.14 to find the distance or the circumference around this circle. Let's go ahead and multiply out 16 times 3.14. Let's start by writing 3.14. We're going to multiply that by 16. 4 times 6 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. I'm done with the 6, so I'm going to put a 0 in that place value. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. I will add up those amounts. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 8 plus 1 is 10. Carry the 1. And 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 5. I notice that there are 2 digits behind the decimal point, so that means I'm going to have to put 2 digits behind a decimal point. Therefore, the circumference of this circle is equal to 50.24, and because I measured in centimeters, let's go ahead and label that centimeters. To review, the circumference can be found by multiplying pi times the diameter.